It's
1000 still pretty standard.
Well, widely installed.
Yeah.
Frank actually saw the box, so somebody would have to come and get it because I can't put it in my car.
Wow.
So.
Well, I can't take it off your hands because I got to fly back.
Because you got to go to California.
Yeah.
You probably would take it though, wouldn't you?
It's interesting if you're in a school, you get a lot of donated stuff.
Right.
And I use the word stuff because they clean it up.
It's stuff.
Yeah.
It's stuff, man. It's amazing. We have a warehouse full of electronic parts, most of which are significantly older than the students are teaching.
Yeah, I know that this stuff is probably good stuff. It's not expensive stuff. If it's useful, I hate throwing useful stuff away.
Yeah.
So, but it may end up down on the curb because I'm moving.
Post to these since the NKY Makers Meetup. I know there's one guy in there that might actually like to have it.
Okay.
But I know he's not going to drive all the way from up here because he's in Kentucky. But he would drive up here to pick up something. But he wouldn't drive up for a meetup.
I'm with you. I understand what you're saying. All right, I'll do a little bit more.
Okay, let's.
Did you put anything on the website?
I haven't really done much of anything because I got so busy doing inspections and having people just randomly go through the house for no apparent reason and all that.
So you're selling your house?
The house has, I think it's actually been sold. I think
Okay, let's get to we're unplugged the Chromecast, so we should be good to go with you.
so. Don's up.
And we'll plug you in.
Okay, well, let's start off here.
You got a special tape?
HDMI in there.
Okay.
Okay,
That tape
You could even come up and
You did.
if you wanted it.
My wife.
Pretty close.
so boot up
And I
a
know you're
Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the Raspberry Pi booting up. Come on, guys.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
What are you running, that Raspbian or something else?
Yeah, this is the one that Raspberry Pi says is a good one to start with. I really run Mate on mine most of the time,
Okay.
but
Basically, it's just another flavor of Linux as well.
and let's see if I can. Yeah.
Battery. You need a battery.
Oh, wait a minute here.
So this is the Raspberry Pi. What flavor? Is it the?
Yeah, now this is the, okay, this is the bigger one. There's, I brought a Pi Zero here, which, if anybody wants to look at it, I'll pass it around.
Just find it later.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, the thing interesting about the Pi Zero is that everything that you hook onto it,
You're attached to something. You're pulling your juice out.
okay, everything hooks onto the Pi Zero costs more than the Pi Zero does. It's
Pi Zero
$5.
is the $5 one. Okay.
And there's an adapter to go from
Ivory scenes.
Just pass it around if you would.
from the HDMI cable. It actually has a micro HDMI cable and there's a little adapter you have to
That probably
buy.
costs you more than $5.
Costs you $5 or so. There's several adapters and various gadgets you can buy. It's a pretty nice little computer for very, very simple jobs. It has a 500 meg of memory, and
And
it,
$5.
as I say, mostly a learning tool. I think the whole of Raspberry Pi is to teach how a computer works. It's different, I think, than the Arduino. The Arduino is really made kind of for the Internet of Things, and you hook stuff up to it, and you either send something or receive something. Where the basis of the Raspberry Pi is to teach a Linux operating system, and I guess from that you probably could have a good start at learning Microsoft. It's not that much different than Apple bases their operating system on Linux too. But
BSD.
but anyway, I think both of them are a good tool. The extra speed that you get with the $30 or $35 version of the I said $30 because the Micro Center is selling it. I recently was selling it for $30.
Is this the Pi 3?
Yeah, Pi 3 they sell for $30,
Really?
and it's $35 most places. Some places get more than that for it, but I think their standard advertised price is $35. This is something may give you a little bit idea about the accessories here. We can
Can you install standard Linux applications on it? Or can you install standard?
yeah. In fact, on the Mate system, I run LibreOffice on it and have spreadsheet and all that kind of stuff. I think this one too has Office has this has LibreOffice basic stuff. It I think not quite as nice as it is on the with the Mate operating system. And
is
It
the
has
Mate
stuff.
operating system for running automation stuff? Like I run RetroPie on mine to play video games. Is Mate for automation, or I've not heard of that OS before?
yeah, I wouldn't.
Mate is just a Debian descendant like Ubuntu or
Okay.
Mint or
Yeah.
any one of it's the two branches are Red Hat and Debian. Debian, all of these things are descended of the Debian system.
The Mate looks a little bit more like Microsoft if you wanted a Microsoft 7 look or something. I don't know.
So does it have GPIO ports?
That's me.
Okay.
But that,
Does the Raspberry have GPIO ports?
Oh, yeah.
yes, it does. And in fact, you can even set that up here with, I think it's a touch thing here.
It's me.
It's me. No, that isn't the one. Add remove software. No, that isn't the one. It has that you can turn on the different GPIO accessories. You can also do that on a terminal, but this is just there's one of these programs in here that setting that up. And,
Well, most people do it with Python, but, you know.
Yeah, I think although they support more related programming, it has Java and Mathematica is really a super powerful language. And it comes free with this. And I think if you have a bigger computer and you try to buy it, I think it's very expensive. And you know, the cost of it, Mathematica, it does, you know, 3D plotting of complex mathematical functions and solving of, you know, matrix algebra and all that kind of stuff. He just put it on there as kind of a promotional thing here.
What's it take to do the install of Mate? About 4 gigs, or do you need an 8 gig SD?
I think I put mine on a 16, but I think you can do it very easily on an 8. And
4 is probably, you got
4 is probably the bottom.
Yeah. Well, the other thing you can do is get rid of all the scruff like LibreOffice and so forth and so on. If you're not going to do Office, there's no point in having it.
Yeah. Trying to run or no?
Are you connected?
I thought I was. Go up here. Ethernet link is down.
Sounds like.
Okay, here's our public.
Yeah, that'll work too. It should work.
Try again. Click try again to.
No, it's still trying up there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it stopped. It's got there. Now I can try again. Okay.
According to the Ubuntu Mate website, you need at least an 8 gig.
Yeah. I know I put Raspbian on a 4 gig, and it was just, and that wasn't the latest Raspbian, that was the previous one.
Yeah.
Now this Wolfram, it really does some very advanced software stuff, and running it probably on this probably doesn't make much sense, except that they're just promoting it, and if they can get somebody interested in doing some more complex visualization graphics here, stuff like dynamic visualization, that's going to be. Yeah. Anyway, I guess my main thing about the Raspberry Pi is that the the $35 unit there that I'm using now is probably the one that you'd want to use, probably for just general purpose programming like you might do on a Microsoft system. You would use the Mate operating system instead of this one. This does have, if you were trying to teach computers, you probably would want to use this one. You have a lot of stuff with Python and and use of the terminal. That's not the terminal there, that's just that's the Python editor that. And you can, I don't know anything very profound to do with that, but if I type in, one thing here. I just said 7 divided by 6, and it says that that's that, and you can save programs from the Python editor and run pretty sophisticated programs. I've done sorting of all the words in a really long document, 1,000-page document, sorting all the words, and generally something like that on this would take you maybe 10 minutes or something like that, and you could run it on a big computer in 1/10 that amount of time. But as I say, for learning, I think that the Raspberry Pi 3 is definitely worth the $35 that you pay for it, and its connectors are standard connectors. There's a full-size HDMI cable and a full-size USB cable.
How much power does it use?
What's that?
How much power does it use?
This one, I have.
They recommend a 2.5 amp or 2.25 amp for the Raspberry Pi 3.
I have here the power running and let's see. Oh, here it is. Okay. This is comparing the I'm not sure what that. This shows that the Model B has a sysbench speed check there that is about 7 times
Computing power or you current? He means current.
Yeah, let me just switch over to that screen so you can see.
Yeah, is it 3.7 or is it 5 volts?
Oh, it's 5 volts on this power supply, and the CPU actually runs on what, 3.1, 3.2?
3.3, probably.
3.3, yeah.
Like one of those lithium batteries that probably won't last long. But.
Yeah, but it draws, full out it draws about 2.5 amps, something like that.
You're gonna have to introduce it. What are you on? Windows 10?
No, this is on regular Linux.
Oh, okay. You're on your own.
Leroy?
What's the question?
How to get my screen on there? I have the benchmarks here that show power.
Do these function keys work on Linux? Maybe.
Should.
That would be that one. Maybe.
Something happened.
Okay, great. All right.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Ask Leroy, but it counts.
Hey, I'd sooner be lucky than smart, right?
Yeah.
And this shows a benchmark there between the oldest one, the Model A there, and the Pi 3, and you can see there's 10 times faster speed on the yellow stands for the multi-threaded operation.
Yep.
And the
Dual processor?
quad processor.
Quad, oh, okay.
Well, the last two have been quads, but this is a faster quad.
Oh, okay.
Let me go up here.
And the 3's got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, right?
Correct.
Wi-Fi.
Yep.
Bluetooth and HDMI.
Yeah. Incidentally, this says 64-bit operating system, and I think that the software that you get today is 32-bit version, and that they said that they'll have that out later, the 64-bit.
This is Raspbian or this is the Mate?
No, this is Raspberry. This is the
No, what's the OS? That's the hardware. What's the OS?
Raspbian.
Raspbian?
yeah, this one right, the OS I got here, this is my big computer. This I'm not running on my Raspberry
What
Pi
are you
anymore.
running
This is
on the Raspberry
description.
Pi? What are you running on the Raspberry Pi? Are you running Raspbian or are you running?
Yeah, Raspbian, yeah.
Raspbian?
And I'm just showing here the, this was brought out 4 months ago. Incidentally, I understand as of last year that they had sold like 3 million of these, and many of them go to schools and places around the world, really Africa and a lot of places, I guess, where they have to use things like solar power. I mean, really in remote applications.
You need a cheap computer.
Well, this is getting down to where they're competing with the Chromebooks and stuff,
Yeah.
right?
You get a tablet for $30.
$135 for this one.
That's kind of a real tablet or real notebook.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess a nice thing for people in remote places, they probably have access somehow to a monitor or a TV set and in some kind of way of getting a little power.
Good way to teach, I guess, a good way to start.
Yeah.
Low end, low cost, getting them into the biz like this Alan Bradley doesn't have anything like this. But it's a good educational tool for people going down that route.
there was, and I can't think of the name, but there was a media center, like a free open source media center that they were advertising that works with Raspberry Pi.
There's several different versions of a media center that work with it.
I don't know if that's up here, in tutorials, for instance, they have very, very good books. These are free online, but that magazine there is about 40 pages long, and they're up to issue 47 now, I think. And there's a lot of applications of, being able to Pi thermometer and things.
We'd like to see some of those in
I
here.
can do that with
That'd be great.
Arduino.
Yeah.
It tells you what you have to have if you, let me just click on that one and tell you what you have to make it work, how you put it together.
Mm-hmm. It's like an instruction.
You'll need 3 green LEDs, 5 yellow LEDs, and that, they got pretty good, this is a pretty good tutorial for kids. I mean, I guess it's even tutorial for grown-ups if you're.
Probably mostly for grown-ups.
Yeah. But there's a lot of stuff on there with things that little kids would be interested in, and making little animals walk and that sort of thing.
We should do some of those. That'd be great. Have a demo.
Jim's trying to run a Jedi mind trick here. Is that right, Jim?
Yeah.
Do you know about the Jedi mind trick?
No.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Yes.
They even have a gadget for Morse code. They'll send you Morse code, and you can send some back to it, and it'll read it and see how good your transmission is in it.
Oh, there we go. Submarine drone powered by Pi.
Everybody wants to build.
Mars rover.
Everybody wants to build my submarine.
Well, the one thing you can do with these, you can also build a little web server. It's real easy to do that if you're knowledgeable in programming and so forth and so on. I've built some web servers using them. That's pretty handy because once you've got a web server up and running, you put a page up, you put some either Python or C code in there for buttons, and then you can control all of the GPIO pins with individual buttons. Now the problem is, of course, it's only digital. It doesn't do a very good job. It doesn't do analog, basically, is what it boils down to. You have one PWM pin on it, I think it's pin 18, something like that. But the advantage of the Arduino, of course, is you've got analog inputs and you've got
Lots of pins. How about lots of GPIO pins?
well, you've got lots of GPIO pins on the Pi also. The problem is they're only digital. There's no analog.
How many digital pins do they have coming out of it?
Well, it's a 40-pin connector, but there's actually 26 that you can toggle.
They also have a little card extra called a GERT board,
Yeah.
which has, something like a,
Well, it's like a
Arduino.
shield on an Arduino.
yeah.
It's basically a daughter board that sits on top of it that gives you some additional capability.
My grip board is an Arduino that plugs into the
Oh,
Pi.
yeah, really?
Yeah. It's got the same bootloader that the Uno has, and it's got the same chip that the Uno has.
Yeah.
So it gives you an additional 16 I/O. I think it talks I2C to the Pi.
That language they have is Scratch for little kids, and it's kind of like that rabbit thing that I had 30 or 40 years ago that makes a rabbit go up 5 places and go over 5 places. This is a little more sophisticated. You can have your characters go across the screen, and they do pixels that make it look like they're running, or it looks like a face or something.
It's like QBasic a long time ago.
Well, this is actually an object-oriented in which the objects are graphic objects. You snap them together in different orders and develop your program.
Bracket things.
It's very similar to the thing that they're doing at IBM, not IBM, at MIT for Android.
Yeah.
programming.
I've showed that, the
Yeah,
MIT
I've seen it.
thing.
Yeah, so you snap together little parts.
And you can use Scratch for, they've got Scratch, a plug-in for Scratch that you can use on the Arduino and
Yeah.
some other stuff. So,
Anyway, anybody have any real specific questions? I'm not sure if I could answer them, but
howdy,
Hi, is this the camera club?
camera club.
Automation
The
technology.
camera club is, if you go out to the information desk, it is in the room directly across, I think it's the B room, which is directly across from the information desk.
I know the other. Thank you, sorry about that.
No problem.
I know because I was in there first. I said, is this the automation stand? They said, nah, this is cameras.
Cameras. It could sort of work, right? Cameras.
Those media center, I was talking to one of my sons about that. Those media center applications, he told me one of them, but what are they? And do you need to do anything special with the Pi 3 to run it, or?
I don't know. I've not run one on mine yet. I don't think you need to do anything special. I think you just install it, tell it where the media, what drive the media is on, and let it go.
Is this one, of those 1, 2, 3 things?
I think so.
Okay. I'm wary of 1, 2, 3.
I actually think it's pretty simple. I set one up on my desktop, and that was pretty much all I did. Was I told it where the media was, what directory the media was in, and it indexed the media, and all of a sudden it was able to stream it out to my other devices. So it was pretty simple and pretty
Did
straightforward.
you load any other, what kind of applications did you load on? Can you load like Netflix and stuff like that?
The one I used was just strictly for local, off my hard drive media. And I was doing that because I've got a really old radio that it's a really old Linksys streaming music player, but it's so old that none of it works anymore, so I made my own server so that I can still
Do you think
listen
it
to
would
it.
stream to
Cody
something like
is
that?
one of the programs that I think you could run on that.
Oh, Cody, that's the one.
Yeah,
That's the one you talked about.
it should be
Yeah.
simple. It should just be, tell it where your files are and it starts streaming.
And it could, the driver will run a big screen like that. Because I do that same thing now, but I have a laptop sitting up.
Yeah.
And so it would be nice to get rid of the laptop and use something like that.
I'm thinking
You
about,
know about Exodus?
What's that?
Exodus on Kodi?
Exodus.
It's an install. It's a add-on, but you can find streaming TV, videos, everything.
I bet mine will too. I've just never done it. The one that I was using, it wasn't Cody. I forget what it was called though. There's a bunch of them out there.
Yeah, I remember hearing this one.
Oh, wow, is this gonna be another one of those backdoor into the business, into the industry, into the TV business?
These things have been around for
Yeah.
So that was kind
10
of.
years.
Incidentally, one of the big things about the littlest,
Were you gonna say it looks jumpy?
Yeah.
But they were jumping, she was jumping around in the video. It was.
That was intentional, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was intentional.
Intentional
Yeah,
jumpy.
like she's, yeah. See?
The flickers, man.
And the frame rate's wrong on that, isn't it?
She's really fast.
I think that's neat though, that the little bitty $5 thing does have the HDMI output to it, so you can see some of this stuff. Some of it, like you say, kind of the data rate gets faster than the thing to keep up with. Right now, we're not on this is not on the Raspberry Pi.
There's also, is there a remote control that comes with, you can get a remote control with Cody?
I'm sure.
I use a little tiny Bluetooth keyboard with mine. It's also a mouse.
HP a long time ago made a media center remote control for the Windows machines. That'll work with it. You just plug in the USB. It's an IR remote. You plug in the IR receiver and you just point it at it. It works with
I've
it.
got one of those, it's fun.
So you're using IR, not BLE?
It's just because that's what I happen to have.
Okay.
The media center that I'm running, I can control it off with my phone. I've got a phone app for it, so I can control it with the phone.
You know, a lot of phones now have IR built into them.
Yeah, I know. Mine does not though.
Mine doesn't because they got the otter case on it. It doesn't work too well through the rubber case.
Now, these are movies here.
Now, this is just Cody, this is really what we're looking at here is.
Okay, where are there movies available to watch here?
Yeah.
There's
Whatever's
nightly news.
amazing stories, but I don't know what.
This is Cody on your laptop, right?
That's right, yeah. I can get Cody on
Would it run
the,
that well on the Pi?
now, let me just try it.
On the 3?
Yeah, Pi 3.
Yeah, I have to,
It'll
I have
probably
to
be on.
switch operating systems on that thing though. Let me get back.
The Raspberry Pi website's got one that's just called Open Source Media Center.
Now, where are these picking them off the web? Picking the movies
I
off
don't
the
know where
web?
those are coming from. I know
I've
where
got
mine
some that are not supposed to, it says in the United States you're not supposed to do this. But I've seen movies before they come out at,
Pirate sites.
That's what Exodus does have.
and I don't do that very much. But some of this stuff, I'll watch a Codebender report or something like that on there. I sometimes watch that. Isn't that on the NBC or is that CBS? CBS is sending Codebender.
The Codebender report.
Not anymore.
No,
You mean his comedy show, Late Night?
These are
Yeah,
competing
whatever it
with
is.
Hulu and et cetera? You're competing with Hulu here, right?
yeah, kinda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because see, I've got it on my laptop, and I can transmit it straight to my Apple TV.
I don't see that on. Well, that kind of stuff that this is just regular old TV programs. That are, and it's reasonable.
What? Don't do that.
But Cody's, it runs on a lot of. Anyway, that's most of my talk, unless if somebody really wants to see us run that on the little one, I can put that on there.
So you think Cody will run on the $5 one?
What's that?
You think Cody will run on that $5 Pi, the
The mini or the 3?
no,
The
not
3, it runs well on.
3 is powerful, but the $5 model.
That one's just, probably not. It's a single core and it's 700 megahertz, I think.
Yeah.
900 megahertz, maybe.
Yeah, and especially if the picture's moving very much, it gets kind of choppy. Sometimes the voice will be okay, but the picture is falling behind. I wouldn't think that'd be a real great application for it.
Think minimum you'd want a Raspberry Pi 2.
Well, actually, 3 for $30, you know, it's worth getting the
Yeah.
3.
Since they're the same cost, same price.
Okay.
That might be a good reason to buy one. I haven't found the reason so far.
That's when we move. I'm thinking about putting a Raspberry Pi in the closet, just to stream videos and whatever. It's exactly what I'm thinking of doing. Maybe putting a fan in there just to keep stuff cooled down.
Stop buying Arduinos.
Stop buying Arduinos. So.
Okay. Anybody, anything else about the Raspberry? I wanted to bring up something Leroy and I talk about all the time, and that is the Chrome, the future of the Chrome. They're talking about making the Chromebooks, migrating the
Did you unhook your HDMI? There we go. We can put the Chromecast back.
They're talking about making the Android software compatible with the Chromebooks and the later Chromebooks.
Yeah.
And I find that very interesting in that what does that do to Microsoft and competing with Microsoft products? You just expanded the Chromebooks dramatically when you add all the Android software to it.
So what would you guess it would do?
I think there would be some competition, but it's how it's handled is a big deal.
I mean, it's not gonna get you any more money, and it doesn't add any extra functionality.
Doesn't add any extra
You
functionality.
get Android instead of whatever they have on.
If you get a Chromebook and anything that's on the phone now,
Yeah.
which is a lot of the apps that were run under Windows.
Yeah.
So basically,
Oh, you're thinking about Windows apps actually running on.
yeah,
on
and
Android.
they do have like Office for these guys. That's Office that's a phone app that runs under Android that you could run on this guy.
But you can get kind of an Office now, a regular Linux Office that doesn't run on Chrome. You know, the open Office thing doesn't run on Chrome.
Well, talking about the Google
Yeah.
Office stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it runs on. It's a browser. It runs under the browser.
I'm trying to think of something that you gain by running.
Well,
Android
you
on
gain
Chrome.
cheapness is number one. Inexpensive.
They're not paying anything for the operating system anyway.
Well, I'm talking about buying a Windows PC versus a Chromebook PC.
Okay. Chromebook's already got that advantage.
Yeah,
But you don't have
but
to pay.
you're very limited at if you want to run the Arduino software on here. Nope. So, what do you think about that? What's
Well,
this guy?
If you're, just a second, the bosses.
Do we see any competition between Windows and Chrome, the Chrome world? Or is the Chrome going to continue to be
Well,
a
I think
niche?
the big deal about Chrome is the hardware to serve it.
Yeah.
And you don't pay anything for the operating system.
You don't pay anything for the operating system.
Okay.
I mean, but there's, Walmart has these inexpensive tablets now. So y'all pretty much do anything with your laptop.
Well, the thing, the reason people buy laptops, the only reason I buy laptops is the apps that run on Windows. Otherwise, I'd run away from
The first thing I do when I buy a laptop is I set it up dual or triple boot, and a couple of other things. And Windows gets used only when I'm forced to use it.
Yeah.
So, but certainly the Arduino stuff is available on Linux, on Windows, and on Mac, on OS X.
And you would see the IDE eventually if they run the Droid stuff, they migrate the Droid stuff to this, then I see the Arduino IDE ending up over here too. Easily.
I don't know. I've never tried to set up the Arduino IDE on an Android operating system.
There's an IDE for it.
There is. I've never set it up because I function those other three operating systems.
It works, but you're on a tablet or you're on your cell phone,
Yeah.
so it's better. You don't really have a real keyboard unless you've got a Bluetooth keyboard or whatever. It's better to do your coding here. Maybe put it over on your phone and load it if you were out in the field or something, but I don't really see a reason to have the IDE on the phone itself.
It's like one of my high school students. Just because you can do a PowerPoint on the phone doesn't mean you should do it.
Here's the other big question I've got. The conflict between the phone and the laptop. Okay. The phones are getting powerful enough.
That's shipped over to sales. You count the number of laptops they sell per year and the number of phones they sell per year, and, there's no comparison. So laptops are frankly a dying breed. I can tell you that of all the students that I have in all the classes I teach at a given term, probably less than half of them actually have a big screen that they're working on. They don't work on a desktop, they don't work on a laptop, they work on their smartphone, and it's a problem because my observation is you send them a complicated email, they read the first sentence and they don't read it.
Leroy, you shut up.
They're not getting anything done. You have to write a 10-page paper. You want to be doing
need a
something,
screen.
yeah, so you can be fast and efficient.
So we have
those
a
discussions.
conflict. The phone should take over, but they got the screen problem. Is the OLED screen going to fix that?
They got the screen problem and you have the I/O problem. Now, this is coming. I guess what I do see is that the talking interface for these things is getting much better. Oh, yeah. If I were talking the paper, and you could get in the habit of getting the cadence right, then you can really do something.
Yeah, well, it's pretty amazing right now. I mean, when I do a Google search on my phone, I use it, believe it or not, it understands my accent pretty well. So,
Okay, Google. We were doing something last week. Somebody asked us what the zip code was for this area, and Jim kept saying, just talking. By the time he finally got the answer, I had already had it, but I had typed it on. I actually typed it. But
I think it's like anything else.
yeah,
It's like, I'm going to date myself now. It's like in the old days when we had secretaries sitting out in front of the doors.
Steno pools.
Pardon?
Just had these big steno pools.
Well, no. I always had a personal secretary, and then the steno pool took care of the load. But doing dictation was a matter of getting them trained to understand,
yeah.
the pronunciation of the words and so forth and so on. Because I would dictate driving to work in the morning. And there was always a few extra comments in there. But some character cut me off or whatever. She said to me, "You had a pretty interesting ride to work this morning."
What was it all about?
But I like the voice interface, but
Yeah,
sometimes just typing the stuff in is faster.
It's getting better. I mean, because
yeah,
I started with the natural speaking thing a long time ago. Back around that I didn't talk right, but I can do it a lot better. Maybe I got older and calmer. But you still need, right now you need to type, because at our school, when you come in, you need to type 25 words a minute before you need a typing class. They will give you a typing class. And so if you got your phone there, and the whole purpose of that is that, you don't have to write papers for everybody, And when you go to work for people, they want you to use the computer. So you need to be efficient. I'm even a proponent of, like, in one of my setups, I got 3 screens. And the other one, I got 2 screens, and they're big screens. I mean, you got the tabs and the screens, you can go pretty fast. Copy stuff from one to the other.
Yeah.
So this less I/O, I'm not for that. I mean, when you're out reading the phone, you read your email, that's fine. But nothing else. Waste a lot of time.
Yeah, we still have the conflict between the cell phone and the full-size laptop or tablet, there is a natural conflict because everybody's ended up with the cell phones, but the screens are not big enough to read the entire mail message.
Depends on what you're doing, okay?
Yeah.
Email, first of all, most people don't write long-winded emails. They write emails the way they do text message, 3 sentences at the most. But if
See what I'm saying, Leroy?
I guess so.
if you're writing something complex, if you're writing a report, a technical report or whatever, you need a screen to do that. Doing that on your smartphone just is a losing proposition.
If you're doing coding, it's much
Oh,
better
yeah.
to have a real keyboard and a real screen.
Or, for example, we were talking about Alan Bradley's earlier on. If you're doing ladder logic or something like that.
Oh, I would absolutely hate that if that was on my
Doing
phone.
ladder logic on this sucker, I
would curse Alan Bradley and then I would probably smash my phone. Yes,
It's difficult.
I agree with
to
that.
use it, The Chromebook thing, what's it got behind it? Well, it's got a few $1 billion behind it. There's something to be said for deep pockets.
The thing about the Chromebook too is that from the company's point of view, there can't be a lot of margin in that. I mean, it's cheap.
They're targeting the low end as being their.
You want to make money. It's like selling little cars. You sell big cars or trucks.
Yeah, you make a lot more money per.
selling economy
You can
cars.
sell SUVs, you can make big money.
Big bucks.
Absolutely.
So what would be Google's motivation to push this Chromebook thing further?
Get everybody into the cloud and make money in the cloud.
They could join the Chromebook with the cell phone business and with the.
Except Google got out of the cell phone business. They sold Motorola again.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that they've done is they put Chromebooks into a lot of schools.
Yeah.
Particularly in areas where kids don't have computer at home. I've got some students, some of my students are, poor enough that frankly they don't have a computer at home because they can't afford one.
Mhm.
And they talk about, well, my kids got Chromebooks at school, and now they're learning to use a computer on their Chromebooks. And apparently they schlep them back and forth and so forth and so on. But they're actually being passed out in the classroom. And they're inexpensive enough that apparently the schools can afford to pass them out, or at least some schools can.
They're lightweight. They're easy for students to carry. Their batteries last forever.
That's, yeah.
I bet you they break a lot of screens.
No, I'm sure.
Well,
I have this discussion with parents a lot of times. Even for college people, I know now that they're going to get a laptop, but laptops get stolen, they break screens, and it just happens. They have something that's fixed in their dorm. You're going to use it, you're going to go out, you're going to come back, nobody's going to come in and steal it. Plus, in almost every hall, they've got computers anywhere in colleges.
yeah.
You don't need to be running around with that thing all over the place.
These are getting almost throwaway at these prices. That was ridiculous. And they're pretty sturdy. You don't have to worry about bouncing. There's no hard drive in there. You don't have to worry
Well,
about
if you're mobile a lot, like in a service business, or either in a local service business, or if you're on a plane 3 days a week,
It's a nice
you want something light and durable, but small and functional.
Yeah, I got a larger laptop, larger than this at home, and I hate it. It's too heavy. It's too big. It's unwieldy.
I've got a permanently dislocated shoulder from carrying a computer bag that,
was something like that. So
because the other thing that happens with a computer bag is it's never just a laptop. It's so easy to throw another 5 pounds of paper
Oh,
in
yeah.
there.
I have bought some times. She weighed probably about 95 pounds. And she would beat up on everybody bad to get the lightest thing possible. She travels a lot.
Mhm.
You know, in the old days, it didn't bother, most of the guys, it didn't bother them. These things were really heavy then, but, you know, like, that's what it is. But, you know, if you don't have a lot of muscles, then, you know, it can wear you out.
Well, rolling bags are kind of nice, I like.
Oh, yeah.
But on the other hand, I don't particularly like having one of those heavy bags dropped on me by somebody who can't quite shove it into the overhead rack either. I don't know, the nice thing about the smartphone is it's self-contained, got all the information accessible here, so forth and so on. But if you're gonna publish the great American novel, that's not where you wanna do it. You wanna sit down in front of a, you know, I like a 30-inch screen minimum. And having 2 or 3 of them is nice also.
That is a Chromecast, and you just you just walk into your room, and there's your 30-inch screen with a keyboard in it. And as soon as you walk in, that's the way my phone is at home. I walk in, it says, "Oh, you're home," and it connects to my cordless phone at home. And if this thing rings, my cordless phone rings. So I would see that as like a docking station, except you don't need the dock anymore. It automatically links up and Chromecast to your local screen. Why
Are you
wouldn't they
talking
do
about the
that?
cloud part of it now?
No. No, I'm just talking about having like a docking. You come into your screen and your keyboard, and it's like a docking station, and it automatically connects wirelessly, and that's it.
So your phone would connect to your screen at home then?
Yeah, and your processor would be here, and the full functionality would be here. But if you want a keyboard, just walk over to the keyboard. It automatically connects to the screen. They should be doing that. That's somewhere.
You
Somebody
think
do
about
it.
that with the phone.
Yeah.
Well, you still got this, these things are not like, you know, not like a laptop. The processor is not as strong, so you're gonna run out of CPU.
Yeah, and that's the weakness, but eventually they will be, I'm sure. They're headed that way.
It's kind of, I think it's gonna be kind of like a power thing, because the more power you put, you restrict it. I mean, physically, they probably could put more in this little box, but at some point, it's gonna get too hot.
Well,
Like,
what it could be is your processor, your heavy-duty processor is here, and if you're doing heavy-duty work, it shares memory, and you do heavy-duty work, you walk up to your terminal, it's a processor, and they just link up, and there you go, your processor running there. There's no reason that could be done. It's not that difficult.
Speaking of dead batteries, mine's dead. What time is it?
Que hora es ya?
6:35?
6:35.
Oh, okay. All I gotta do
We
is
need,
look.
6:55, we will be walking toward the door. That's where it works.
I can remember when I first started traveling, we had the laptops, and they were like Zenith, and they were just like a typewriter. A person was hauling a typewriter.
Yeah.
So I saw a person that had a compact. I said, ooh, look at that compact. Little thing like that, gotta have. Gotta have.
What was the name of the first laptop? Was that Osborne?
Osborne, Adam Osborne, I remember him well.
Suitcase.
I have met him, he's dead now, but I've met him and he's quite a character.
It's what I was talking about is kind of like the Chrome browser. You have add-ons, you have configurations for Chrome, and they follow you wherever you go. When I sit down and bring up my Chrome browser, it has all the tabs. We found out it has all the passwords that my other PCs have, and it's wherever I sit down.
Okay, because you're using the same browser, probably using,
Chrome,
what's the browser? Mozilla? Mozilla does that.
Chrome browser.
Yeah. If you use a common browser, when you go to another terminal, it seems like they know.
And the applications and you log in, when I log into the station, it's, you say, I log into Chrome, and it knows how I'm set up, and it'll just follow me wherever you go, and it's set up that way wherever you sit down. That could easily be done on your phone. Now, like some of the things don't transfer to the Chrome, and that's what I'm saying, when they start moving the Android stuff to the Chromebooks, then that would be transparent too. When I get to Chrome here, it'll have all my apps here.
Okay, so it doesn't sync.
It all syncs up.
It'll sync once everybody's got the same Android here, Android there. Either to sync.
Yep, and everything's set, and in this case, I'm sure with, if you're not running the Chromebook, if you're running just, not the Chromebook is now the exception. It doesn't move everything to the Chromebook because it can't. But when they start using the apps, when they start moving the Android apps to here, I bet they will. Because Chrome, I'm sure, runs under Unix. Okay.
All right. I see you excited about it.
Well, I'm seeing futures. I see so much capability. There's so much out here, and so many, and their weaknesses
Okay,
and
you
strengths.
need to go talk to all these people that sold on Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of them out there, so you got a long
He
list.
was our Microsoft guy here. He's picking on me a little bit.
Oh, are you a Microsoft person?
I'm into Microsoft. Actually, I teach Microsoft stuff.
It's a love-hate with me, you know. I can't get away from it because it has stuff.
Well,
that
I love Microsoft because it makes me a lot of money. All the
Exactly.
screw-ups they do, I mean, I have no problem whatsoever making a fortune every year. My tax man loves Microsoft.
We went to the brewery out here in Miller and Trenton, and they have these tow motors that haul the pallets around with the beer on it. It's automated, it's fully automated, nobody drives them. Picks them up, delivers them.
Yeah.
And so we looked, and they got a processor sitting in the back of the tow motor, and there's the little PC-looking thing. You know what operating system they're using? IBM DOS.
God.
And they're a fully automated device.
That ought to be scary.
It was scary. And the I.O. was the old I.O. that was shaped like that. I forget the name of those darn things, but they've been around for 40 years.
You're not talking about a Centronics interface.
No, it's
You're talking about 25-pin D?
They have little hockey pucks, little pucks like that, and it's I/O back when they're running PDP-11s. That's what they use for I/O for.
Oh, I know what he's talking about. I forget what they're called.
Yeah, they're still around. They're still, you can connect them to your parallel port.
Yeah, I have.
Opto flex.
Or opto-isolators, but that's just the circuitry inside.
Yeah, it's the name. There's an Opto something is the name of it. And I saw them 40 years ago. They're still around. Darn. They're using a PC basically running IBM DOS with little Opto isolators and things on it.
Problem with that is if something breaks, because they probably use really, really old hardware, and then you have to go to the ends of the world to get a new chip.
But they're running IBM DOS.
You don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're running IBM DOS. It's Intel DOS, stupid DOS.
Unfortunately, I know what you're talking
DOS.
Probably got a 286 processor.
Yeah, right, or earlier. 8086.
When we had the shop, I had somebody from one of the tech places, they milled stuff, and their computer went down, and it was an 8088.
Wow.
And I went, "You've got to be kidding." And he was like,
It's been
"It's
working.
the only thing that will run the software, and the software
It's been
was
working for 50 years.
outrageously priced, and they weren't going to upgrade it."
Yeah.
And we finally found him one on eBay that was a decent 8088. But
I had an 8080 adapter in my first Apple so I could run CPM and that.
Oh, I was a big fan.
That was not too long ago that happened. I mean, the shop hasn't been around for 4 or 5 years, but it's been maybe
I wonder why.
3 or 4 years ago.
Hey, they're supposed to be getting rid of USBs and replace them with a new USB-C.
Well, the USB 3 has been out for a while, but the C has fallen on hard times because they've had some big problems.
Somehow it's supposed to be sexless. I mean, what do you call it, MB?
Yeah, sexless is a good way of putting it.
Well, that's no good.
So,
You mean it's not going to multiply when I throw it in my box of other wires?
is it gonna be faster? I never heard this. What's why the USB-C? Is it faster or
It's
what?
faster and it will do more things in charging and connecting. And
I put 22.
You know,
it looks more expensive.
You can connect a
Yeah,
147
you're
Not
ports.
still 22s, yes, I
So-
remember them well.
They're still here.
But those were around, those were still in use well into the
147
80s.
devices, one USB.
Oh, I used them, I saw them
Nobody
in the
does that.
70s.
Well, no.
It's capable.
Yeah, they were still available, still in use in the
You can
80s.
imagine all those
A
hubs.
PDP-11, you know what a PDP-11 is?
I know what a PDP-8 is.
Oh my God, no, you're ancient.
I learned the assembly language on a
I know what
PDP-8.
IBM 7094 is.
Well,
I wrote the first thing I ever wrote a program on was in 1961. I wrote a program on IBM 7090. I guess I just exposed my age.
The PDP-8 was enough. I knew of them. I think
There
I
actually
may have
was a
seen one.
PDP-4 before that.
Oh my God.
I've seen pictures of the
Did
4.
bring you walkthrough? No.
Nah, I have an automated wheelchair.
Okay.
I've seen pictures of the 4 before.
I've used punch cards.
So have I. I've still got a full box of them sitting in my garage.
Use a paper tape.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And an 8-inch floppy.
oh
I
yeah.
have
I got some of
one, I
it.
have one 8-inch floppy sitting on top of my closet in my office.
I got a lot of, I got 8-inch shoe guard drives because I had a TRS-80 Model 2.
Oh,